The Cloud of Unknowing is Black Letter Press's latest edition, and those of you who've been watching my channel for a little while will know that I have had the honour of having been asked to write the introduction to this lovely volume. Let me first of all give you a close look at this cover. Let me just put it away from the blue over there so that you can see the actual colour of the book itself. My phone kind of compensates for all the blue by adding lots of yellow, unfortunately. But yeah, if I put it up like this, you can see that it's a really nice slate blue with a very rich blue detail on there, and yeah, this lovely gold radiating center, which is really so beautiful. What a lovely design. One of the members on Discord this morning, Mr. Gunwich, thanks once again, Mr. Gunwich, for your invaluable contributions, suggested that this could be a good example of Eastern thought permeating Western traditions, and I think that's probably quite accurate. The Cloud of Unknowing is a mystical Christian text from the 14th century, originally written in Middle English by an unknown, unnamed author, a completely anonymous author. And it's written in a way that is accessible to anyone, whether they are Christian or not. The reason I say that is that the core principle that comes out of this book is whatever you think you know about divinity, that's not divinity. So if you want to approach God, using the Christian term that the author uses, if you want to approach God, if you are full of preconceptions, preconceived ideas of what God is, then you're keeping yourself out of God's actual presence. So the book is, in fact, a how-to guide of how to approach divinity for a first-hand experience. It's a fantastic text, but a text which, if you try to read it in the original Middle English, you'll see that I've got it over here on the Rochester education page, and you'll see that it's actually very it's not impossible to read, right? But you know, clepid, that's basically called, which is called the Cloud of Unknowing, right? The spellings are so different from what we would expect nowadays that it makes for very laborious reading, and so Black Letter Press have chosen here a translation by John Watkins, being the founder of Watkins Bookshop in London, as you know, probably my favourite esoteric bookshop in the world. Not that I've visited very many outside of Europe, but I absolutely love Watkins Bookshop. And yes, so the founder of Watkins Bookshop made this. It's hard to call it a translation, but because it actually keeps all the same words, it's just that he's updated the spelling so that it's easier for the modern reader to read it, simply to access it. And it's a joy to read. It's such an enjoyable read. Okay, there is the odd point at which he calls the reader a wretch, and actually I addressed that in my introduction about how we're just not used to that nowadays. But it's all really part of the method of understanding that whatever we think we understand kind of gets in the way when we're in fact trying to approach divinity ourselves first, for a first-hand encounter. It's a very useful read. It's a very approachable read. Yes, some of the terminology may put off some people who are particularly averse to Christian terminology, but you must remember that these are just words, and they're words which point to an experience. And it's that experience which is so interesting here. That's the whole point of this. Yes, it was written in the 14th century by probably a monk, a Christian monk. So yes, the language that he's going to use is going to be essentially the language of Christianity. But anyone from any tradition can approach this and use the technique for themselves for the same effects, as long as they can approach it with an open mind. There we go. So a beautiful, beautiful edition, as usual, with Black Letter Press. I'll give you an idea of the paper stock. Really, really nice, thick pages, as usual, with Black Letter Press, and a very crisp, very nice font. Very easy to read, despite being, rather small. It's very clear, very, very approachable, and easy on the eye. There we go. That's it, guys. That's really my tour of of the Cloud of Unknowing by Black Letter Press. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you very soon with another video. Take care.